Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, I think. I think this time I have the microphone on. Can you guys please tell me if you can hear me? Oh, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. So if you want to come up, I know there's a lot of there's a lot of Zoom calls and stuff to do today, but we still have time to talk before and after if you feel like talking. I think whatever, like we need to be prepared for everything and talk about it. So cool. Yeah, I could see that there was pressure, and it's normal to feel that way. Some people want to I don't know, everyone has a different opinion. Let me see. Oh, there you are. Hello, hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
Honestly, excuse my language, but I'm stressed the fuck out.
Yeah, go ahead. That's why
You
we're
know,
here.
like, like
Mm,
I'm putting this out there publicly. I see Audit as a friend and I see DOA as a friend.
yeah,
I have met both of them. So this whole thing has me really stressed out, but I I'm hearing tons of misinformation because people don't have all the facts.
right.
And it's really annoying when I see it put out there that Audit is the one that was like hunting down Aaron to, tracking him down, messaging him, and trying to get on his stream.
Did somebody said that? I don't remember anybody saying that. That's why because sometimes when you say there's so much information, did somebody say that Audit chased him or went for him?
Not really, but they're strongly implying that, and I
Mm,
felt like DOA was implying that she went to him to be
right.
on his stream because DOA said, "Why couldn't she be on my stream promote it? Why didn't she ask me?" Well, she didn't ask Aaron, and that's the main point.
Yeah,
Like it's getting thrown
I
out
get
there like
it.
she did
Yeah.
that. And
I think he
you know,
said that somebody and you must be you and many others in the chat told him she did not reach out. I read it many times. She did not reach out. He reached out to her. So basically, she just said yes, and then the other said, "Well, but I don't care who called who." So that's his opinion. So I think like the conclusion that she reached out to, it's uh, it's I don't know who reached out to that conclusion. I think to DOA that he doesn't care about that. That's his point of
I'm just
view.
saying,
I do
like,
not agree. I understand how he feels, but I think that Audit should be free to do like he should support the protest anyway. But I do understand in the context how he feels. Now the problem is, as you say, when there's a lot of misinformation going around, and I don't know what people are saying. So it's great that you're here and
okay,
tell us anything that you have
I
on your
I,
mind,
I
please.
don't want to speak too much because I can't speak for Lara. I can't speak
Mm,
for Audit. I can just speak on stuff that I
yeah,
know, but I do know that before I do not know the context of what happened, but before Audit went on with Audit, there was definitely a call with Audit and Lara. Now, maybe one of
hmm
them wants to in the future speak more about that. I have no idea what was. I just know that when I was told about it, I freaked out about the situation because I don't like Aaron.
right.
I do not respect Aaron. He's abused women. I don't. Like so. The second I heard, I freaked out and I said, "Well, maybe you should talk to Lara, and you definitely should,
Audio
give
test one,
DOA
two,
and
three.
the community a heads up.
I'm
Don't spring it
testing
because see
the
how I reacted."
YouTube broadcast for
PJ, you're so rude
audio
and
input
nasty.
from the boardroom. Good morning. Just making some commentary while staff tests the YouTube broadcast.
I hear him, but I don't know if I can say anything.
Yeah.
Audio settings.
But yeah, like I don't know. There's just
Right. So you
She-
mentioned like, yeah.
he handled it in a very good way, in my opinion, by having a conversation with Laura. Like I said, I don't know what that conversation. I don't know what either one of them said, but I know for a fact that there was a conversation, and I know that there, she had told me, and I said, you should, maybe give people a heads up or something before you just pop up on stream with him, because a lot of people are gonna just freak out like I did. I'm looking at the bigger picture with it.
Yeah.
This is bigger than anyone's feelings, including my own. And we're supposed to be, as humans, we're supposed to be selfish and care about our feelings. But I put my feelings aside with that. Not that I still think everything I do about Aaron, and I don't like that he's, not just physically abusive, but in my opinion, he's psychologically abusive and all this other stuff. My opinion of him has not changed, but why not try, but still, I told Audit that I didn't like the idea. I told her I didn't think it would change anything, but it's not going to bring people that, just because they're hearing it on his stream, they're not going to show up or be supported. No, like, I didn't see the purpose of it, but I think that it's good to be able to, she was talking, the main thing she talked about, she wanted this to be a day to put beefs aside,
Yep.
and focus on, the mission. So that's what I tried to do. And I went in there for a second during the stream, and I was surprised that he was covering it. So, full transparency, if someone didn't see it and they want to judge me on it, I commented in Aaron's stream. I was in Aaron's stream when Audit was on there, because I was supporting my friend Audit. And I said to Aaron, I said, thank you for covering this. And
Yeah.
he used that. I heard he used it. He put it up on the screen later or something. So I think maybe he was using that to, I don't know. But if I say thank you for covering it, that does not mean that it erases any of the negative.
Good morning to our attendees who are here in the
But
Board
it's
of
okay.
Public Works sharing room, to our
I'm gonna
staff,
jump on.
to our attendees,
Thank you.
and our partners.
Yeah, I'll keep
Good
talking
morning
later.
also to our attendees who are joining us on the virtual platform. If there are any members of the public who wish to offer public comment or commentary on any of our agendized items this morning, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room. Indicate which item you'd like to speak on if you are here in the room. If you are joining us virtually, please raise your hand. I will call upon you and ask which item you'd like to speak on. And if you could indicate which item you'd like to speak on, or if you'd like to offer general public comment or multiple item commentary or single item commentary, I'll record your name for the record and we'll call upon you when we reach your item. This morning, I do see one hand raised on the virtual platform. Jill, good morning.
Just general public comment.
And I see that your audio is working. However, I'm not receiving audio input. I'm going to go ahead and go to Carla. Good morning, Carla.
Good morning. Yes. Hello. Good morning.
I see that you've muted as well. However, I'm not receiving audio input. Just give me 1 second. Please bear with me. We're having some audio issues at this point.
I will tell her if he calls me first, Amy, that I heard you, but he cannot hear us. So, oh, I think I'm not on mute. Great.
You did too. Who did that? I apologize. Carla.
Yes, hello.
Carla. Yes, give me 1 second. I apologize. I didn't turn up the Zoom input quite.
Yeah, I see. I'm sorry, I kept talking without noticing.
All right. Can we try again? Carla, Good morning, Carla.
Good morning, TJ.
And so would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Yes, please, General.
Very well. Thank you.
Sorry, Peter, I wrote your name wrong. I was in a rush. I don't know which of all the things that we can say. Yeah, please join. All you have to do is call. All you have to do is call. Well, you still have time, Gigi. Don't worry. Sorry that I distracted you before. I was just I could see that you really wanted to talk about it, and I think it's important. So. Kathy, you make me laugh. I don't know what I'm going to say. Sorry, just here for moral support.
I apologize for the delay. I have Carla for public comments, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get audio input from Jill. Good morning, Jill.
You hear me?
Yes.
Just general.
Very well. Have you down for public comment? And Gigi, good morning.
Good morning, TJ. I'd like general public comment, please.
Very well. I have you down for public comment, and I can receive your audio input from our Zoom attendees. Thank you.
All right, I believe that I am muted on. I know. You can always come over and please say so. Oops. Today, they're in the agenda. They seem to be a bid, the discussion of a bid for public particular work. Yeah, I hope she calls. Absolutely. Oh, she's there. Audit is there. She's in person. She may be
Good morning.
streaming.
Once again, welcome to our city presenters and public commenters here in the board hearing room. If there's any members of the public who wish to offer public commentary,
Yeah, she's live.
and you've not already done so, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room, indicate which item you'd like to speak on, and hand it to me. We will record your information for the record and call upon you when we reach your item. Good morning as well to our attendees on the Zoom platform. I have Carla, Jill, and Gigi, who have indicated that they wish to offer commentary.
Great
And
grandma?
I do see an
you call it?
additional hand raised at this time. Lurker, would you like to offer
Yeah.
public comment this morning?
Yes, I would, please and thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. If there's any other member of the public who wishes to offer public comment or commentary on any of our items, including single item or multiple item commentary, please raise your hand at this time. I'll ask you to identify yourself and record your information for the record. And we'll call upon you when we reach your item. The time is 9:58. We should get started with the meeting in approximately 2 minutes. Thank you.
So I do not see any presentation, Amy. It says presentation. Oops, it says presentation agenda items, but since he had taken our names first, and the other day he didn't do that, it looks like first they're gonna let us talk. And then there's a presentation. There's some agenda items about sewer rehabilitation and other bits. Today's pretty charged. How many agenda items? Like 12 agenda items. So yeah, probably I joined some, depending on. Yeah, Audit's there. We can go say hello. Oof. Okay, no, wait. They can move public comments to any time during the meeting, says Peter. Sometimes they move it to the end. Hopefully they won't do that today. And if they do, we still have a lot to talk about it. So we can do keep talking while they discuss whatever. Yeah. Yeah, we can have the live audio and then see her. If you have another device, you can have the audio here and then have her stream to see and maybe if you want to see their faces from the Zoom call here, you can have a closer look. But I think she's going to move to the front of the stage as she.
This meeting is being recorded.
President King, we are now in record mode.
Okay, now I'm getting really cheeky.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. Mr. Knight, would you please take roll and establish quorum?
Yes, good morning, President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, and Commissioner Mitchell are present. We do have a quorum. We are joined this morning by City Attorney Representative Virginia Choi. I'm TJ Knight with the Board of Public Works. President Kang, we have 4 public commenters on the Zoom platform, 1 public commenter and 1 multiple item agenda commenter in the hearing room. And we have no neighborhood council commentary this morning and no
All right, we
single
have
item
5 slots
commentary
if
this
you
morning.
guys want to call.
Thank you very
So
much.
Peter,
We will now get
this is your
started
time.
with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items.
Oh my
and will
God,
be
don't say
provided
that,
up to
Gigi.
1
I'm
minute
getting
per
nervous.
person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment section of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We will now start with in-person public comment. First up, we have AuditLA.
That is true, Ganja Girl.
Please approach the podium and
We
you'll
have
have
new
60
audience
seconds to
that
offer
they
your
don't know
comment.
anything about this, so this is our opportunity. Yeah.
I'm ready. Thank you. Good morning. I think we know we're going to have a peaceful protest on Father's Day. And I know it's a weird time that, right? You say, why would you do it on Father's Day? Well, it's because they have a thing in Scientology called family separation, where we have people who they can't see their dads because they're not in Scientology anymore. And their father, isn't allowed to be a father anymore because to do so would mean he'd be tossed out. And he's, if he's in it for 50 years, like where would he go? And they're told it's a scary, horrible world out there. So on Father's Day, I just want you to remember there are people in our city who who are disconnected from their families. And it's not necessarily because they want that. It's because this has been something going on for so long and we're unaware of it. So we're trying to bring awareness. I want to assure you it is going to be peaceful. And we're also about the ADA issues because, you know, they consider us degraded beings. So it's peaceful. But I wanted to just let you know that what's going on in our area on Father's Day. Thank you. Happy Father's Day to all those.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our virtual platform.
Very well. We'll go ahead and start with Carla. Carla, go ahead and unmute. You have 60 seconds to offer your commentary and public comment.
Thank you. I would like to second the comment by AuditLA. This is a very important protest. Me personally, I never met my father. That's not something that nobody should care about, right? But I see people like Lara and many others. There's hundreds and hundreds of people who cannot talk to their fathers on Father's Day. And this is because Scientology does not let them. So this protest is very important. And one of the things that I want to mention is the street that is called L. Ron Hubbard Way. The bricks that were put in that on that street were put by children. And Lara Anderson is one of those children. She can attest to that. So it is important that to know that in the future, we're going to ask for that street to change its name and to please be aware of all the problems that that implies. I know this is public works. We should be talking about specific details. That street means a lot, and it should be used to remember the victims and to make changes. Oh, thank you. I yield my time.
We'll move next to Jill.
Hi, I'm just gonna speak about that permitted day on June 15th on Father's Day. I just hope that you don't allow another group to interfere with their day like they do. They do fair gaming. They do a lot of threatening, predatory tactics on people that are there that they do not like, especially people that are not able-bodied, as they consider them disabled and degraded beings. They're very much like how Hitler is. They view people like an eugenics project. It's like Dr. Mengele. They have a lot of the same ideologies, and I would hope that you would enforce the permit and let them do what they want and not have any kind of interference from the cult of Scientology. Bye.
And we'll move next to Gigi.
Yeah, so I also want to speak about L. Ron Hubbard Way between Sunset and Fountain over by Vermont. So that road, like the previous callers have said, that road was built, the bricks were laid by child labor. And that is not the worst thing that is done in Scientology involving kids. They have child auditing, and that is child abuse. You know, it's not just like confessionals, stuff like that. Like they're having kids do the purification rundown. Look that up. That's child abuse. It's not just like a sweat lodge. That's child abuse. And for those reasons, I think you should rip up the bricks from that road and repave it. There should be no ownership of that. They don't own it. So why is it all bricks and why is it, you know, theirs in their mind? Take the road back. Thank you.
And we'll move next to Lurker.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is when you're listening to this, because as you know, people are listening worldwide. And this looks absolutely ridiculous that in this United States of America, a street built with the hands of children can be strong-armed by a corrupt corporation by simply putting fake no parking signs and painting red curbs as if they are the rulers of the streets of LA. Do you not see how ridiculous this looks worldwide? That the strongest country in the world is under siege of a street that was built by children. Isn't that embarrassing?
Thank you. President King, I do see an additional hand raised on the virtual platform. If you like, I can.
Yes,
ask it.
please.
If Georgina would like to offer public comment this morning,
Yes, please. Thank you.
go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
I am shocked that the city of Hollywood has allowed an organization to steal a public road. I was calling to get the planners removed because that street was not accessible. And I want parking put there and I want meters put there. And then come to find out, they put those bricks down and they used child labor to do that. And that's not even a no parking street. So what I'm asking for is not something that needs to be asked for. It's already in existence, except they've stolen it. They've painted the curbs red and put up their own fake signs. So they've effectively stolen that road. Hollywood has allowed grand theft to happen for a couple of decades now, and it needs to be retroverted and fixed, and they need to be fined for that. Thank you. I yield back my time.
President King, that concludes public comment this morning.
With that, we will close general public comment portion of today's meeting and move on to multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to 1 minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item. Please identify the items that you will speak on when you are called. We will start with in-person comment from AuditLA.
I'm gonna try to talk about the budget, I guess. Let's see. You can do two. It's a lot of money in the
Right,
agenda.
again. I know I want to start. I think it's 1, 4, 7, and 8. Boy, this is hard. I forgot my gimbal. But I love that the world is interested in these topics. You know, like the world is coming to Public Works and City Hall, and I think that's amazing. But okay, number 1. Can you hear me? Is it number 1? Bids. Okay, like I've been saying for a long time, when it comes to bids, I know it, you know, it can sound silly, but you have to make sure there's no slave labor in any bidder, especially with union. We have to think of these things because it does happen. I mean, people, you might think that we're joking about the child labor on L. Ron Hubbard Way, but I have a friend who was one of those children, and you know, and so it's very real, and it's very real, and it's not just Scientology. There's other organizations that they make a lot of money because they don't have to pay their workers. And even if they're paying them $5 an hour, that's not, they're worth more because according to the law. And so just always, I'm just asking you to please be mindful of that. And number 4, is it 4? And there's the other, there's 2 with the same. So Madam Attorney, there's 2 talking about budget increase. I don't remember the other number. But again, we're talking about budget increase. There's 2. And sorry, I'm getting distracted. So when it comes to budget increases, like I feel like there's a little bit of, I don't know if it's a lack of integrity by the bidders, thinking that, oh, well, just get the bid in, just get the lowest bid, because then we can figure it out later, because we could just come back and, you know, they kind of maybe, are they holding the city hostage? They know that we need these things done. And maybe they're not even the best company for it, but like we're just going because it's the lowest bidder. Is there anything more that goes into it? Like, do they have a consistent history of low bidding and then needing to come back for more money, or, you know, are they doing the right thing? So I don't know what else goes into all of that, but I always get concerned when I see that there's an increase in what they're asking for. And because I'm wondering, if they were so good at what they do, why couldn't they figure out what they needed to begin with? And so, you know, like you got, you know, I say you all do your job, right? You're going to figure out what you need before you do the job. And it should be really close, because when we're here, we're doing it, you know, it's a pretty steep increase. You know, a lot of them have been steep increases. Now, if sometimes, of course, there's always going to be something unforeseen that happens, but I just think we have to be tougher and hold the who's going to be building our city accountable. And that's, we're looking to you for that. Thank you. I'll let it go after that.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other in-person?
President King, I did receive a speaker card from another in-person commenter who has listed the item that he wants to speak on being everything. So if, with your approval, we can ask him to speak on multiple item agenda commentary since public comment has already
Is
been
his
closed.
new name now? Mr.
And
Figueroa?
the name is Herman Spindler.
Oh, okay. They're using
Herman Spindler, if you can come up
Good
to
name.
the mic, and this is your chance for multiple agenda items.
We
You
hope
have
he
up to
doesn't
3 minutes.
copy the style of the other two.
All right, cheating on the 1 minute, no problem, city attorney. Good morning, President Corson. I want to start with item number 6 with city attorney Corson. Item number 6 is about the request to temporarily close the Metro Purple Line extension. So I want to ask our city attorney Corson that how many years do we have to wait that for you to complete your Metro, whatever, purple line, red line, yellow line, orange line, whatever that? How many times I have to tell you that people without a car like me, we are struggling to travel to work, to travel to school, to travel to our, dialysis of medical appointment. But how many times you have to tell Metro, please stop the purple line project, please stop the bus project, please stop the rail project. I want to ask our city attorney that, do you understand why you have a freeway congestion on every day? It's because your public transportation is really having a big problem that nobody is taking the public transportation. Ridiculous. Now let's move on to item number 9. Item number 9. I'm seeing some sort of approve a total budget of 8 million to fund stakeholders to outreach and community engagement effort. Now I want to ask our city attorney Corson that I have been living in LA for more than 35 years, and that I received the zero outreach from whatever you said, wastewater, whatever outreach community engagement effort. So I want to ask our city attorney Corson that why I am excluded. Is that because I am LGBT? Is that because I am a Caucasian? Is that because, I cannot afford a home? Is that because I live on the street? That I want to ask you, you are spending $8 million every single year for your community outreach, community engagement. Why I was never part of your engagement effort? This is ridiculous, but thank you very much for texting. Now let's move on to item number 12. Is about item number 12, Metro and the DOT transportation project update. How many times, city attorney, that I have to call you, I have to call the DOT, the elevator is down. That my friend has a wheelchair who cannot get onto the platform because the wheelchair is down, the elevator is down. How many times I have to call your office and ask you, hey, Metro this, Metro bus are overcrowded. The wheelchair are not able to get on the bus because the Metro, they are running over capacity. And then those are considered as a safety hazard. And how many times I have to call you to improve your transportation related project? And how many times you hang up on the phone?
President King, that concludes the speaker cards for multiple agenda item commentary who are here in the room. I do have a hand raised on the Zoom platform. If you like, I can ask if.
Yes,
thank you. If Carla would like to offer multiple agenda item commentary this morning.
Yes, please.
Go ahead. You have 3 minutes. Please identify which item you are speaking on. 1 minute per item.
Yes, I would like to speak first on item number 1 and also item number 2 and item number 4. So yes, these 4 items we're talking about, these are just examples because there are many other items where we have a very high budget, over $1 million budget for different works that need to be done in the city that I understand you're going to discuss here with all the bidders. I want to tell you, as you guys, I think you already know, and sorry that I said it like that, and the audience too, that there is a lot of money that is not being collected that could help all these projects and lower the burden of the citizens of Los Angeles. that money, I will ask the board to please enforce all the fines that Scientology owes to the city for failing to comply with the city regulations. Where do those fines come from? Well, first, they have ignored the city's request to remove unauthorized planters around their East Hollywood buildings. And we're talking about numerous blocks, and I don't remember right now how many planters, but that is a lot of money. AuditLA has a report on that. The other violations are they have repeatedly violated the terms of event permits. They have been given numerous events. And how have they violated those permits? Well, first, they have blocked the sidewalks when they were supposed to remain open. They have not put the permits on display for the public to read. They have not offered the permits to read when requested by the people. They have been playing loud music, very loud, over the top of what is allowed, and the neighbors have complained about it. There are numerous emails by the neighbors complaining about that. And among other things, they have also closed the street outside of the approved hours. So we see a pattern here of behavior that it's important to pay attention to for new permits, but in particular for these agenda items, I want to reference to the money that can be collected. And because these are not minor oversights, we're showing a pattern of disregard for city rules and the community. So with all the money you can gather from these fines, this is a multi-billion-dollar organization. They can pay it with, it's pocket money for them. And it's very important for all the works that you need to do. And that is my message today regarding the agenda items. Thank you very much.
President King, that concludes multiple agenda item commentary this morning.
All right, thank you very much. With that, we will close multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting, and we'll move forward with the approval of minutes for Friday, May 23rd, 2025. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments on the minutes? If not, I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
First by me and seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Rochelle. All ayes, and approval is unanimous.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 1 for bids for Central Business District and Sewer Rehabilitation Unit 5 and 6.
Thank you, President King. I am joined this morning by Board of Public Works Secretariat Staff Matthew Castellanos as we open the bids for this item.
Right, I just left the, obviously the Zoom call. These are the famous planters, as you guys all know. And these are the REITs that I call reefers because I'm an idiot. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so let me see. Thank you guys for staying. I understand if you want to go, if you maybe prefer to go to, I don't know, Gigi, if you tell me what you want to do, if you want to come back, like we can continue discussing this. I have also some my point of view on that, and I want to hear what you have to say if you want to. And we can also discuss if you want to come over, Amy, or whoever wants to come over, Antics, whoever wants to come over, we can discuss whatever, whether it's about the next permits, the next calls, or what's going to happen with the protest. If not, I understand completely if you prefer to go to see Audit and her shenanigans. So yeah, Gigi, if you want to come back or we talk about this later, just guys let me know. Great, I see you here. There you are. Hi. I know this is not the best setting in the background, but let me know where you want to go.
We're talking about it, so.
Yeah, it's pertinent. I want to put something on it.
Wait.
And yeah.
I have an echo. I got to turn YouTube off.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's better.
Yeah, I want to, let's see if I'm going to mute for whatever reason. Just makes me dizzy to move around. That stupid deer. Well, let's look at the hospital. Remember, if you want to. Oh, okay.
Well,
Gigi, you have a
I
live
have
today,
a live,
right?
I have a live scheduled, but it's like I could just talk about my points now. You
As
know,
you
like
prefer.
what I
Maybe you
did
want to talk
before.
about it on your channel. It's up to you, or both times.
Well, I don't need to dedicate a whole stream to it. I really
Mhm.
don't. But I just wanted to mention, like, I think that it's unfair how Audit's being treated in this situation. And there were many times that people have, probably told Audit, you know, don't talk to DOA. But she still had his back, and
Yeah.
I just I hate that there's all this talk about the protest and how it's gonna fail and no one's gonna show up and like I
Okay.
don't know.
So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It's important to Audit, so that means a lot to me as a friend. But it's also important to put things aside. And why can't we show that there can be unity against Scientology? And with that, I gotta say something. Okay, a lot of people are calling it like Laura's protest and everything, and that is an aspect of the protest. But if you look at the flyers, which I don't have them handy or anything, like there's a lot of things listed off. There's a lot of aspects. And one of the aspects is the ADA compliance and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So like it's multifaceted. And LAR is important to, I'm not going to say all of us because I can't just generalize like that, but I'm pretty sure most of us, if not all of us, really care about Lara, and we really want her to be able to sing to her dad. But it's also about more than that. Let me, I don't have the flyer.
It's about the flyer that T made. You're talking about. I can
I don't
find
know
it.
who made it. But it sort of has like talking.
Hello. Maybe I'm
Hold on, I had
blocking.
to switch to my text message, so it muted me. But
Oh, okay. Sure.
give me 1
I
second.
think
I
I
gotta
have
look.
it here.
Okay, right, and like Laura's the reason that I'm fighting, but so is
Yes.
Serge. Serge is the reason, and this is about Serge too. It's about any of them. Like I don't know. I need to point out because this is ridiculous. People think this. Aaron is not going to be there, and if he does, it's going to be because people are saying he's not going to be there, and he's going to just like pop up and do his thing, and just try to act like it's all his. I don't know, but Aaron said on a comment, I saw him say that he was going to be at home. So I don't know why people think that she didn't like organize this thing with him. He has nothing to do with it. It's just people were pressuring him in emails, in community posts, and he, called their bluff, and then he messaged her. But I just things are gonna be good. There's gonna be a good turnout. I don't know how much,
Yes.
but like still spread the word, everyone here. And I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm like over talking. So like
No.
this is the
I want
first
to hear
thing I'm not
everything because
saying that.
you're the one who feels so sad to say all that. I have thoughts about what happened in the past and what can we do from now. I mean, it is understandable that I mean, if I think back like a year ago, a lot of people joined because it was popular. Everybody or others joined because of personal reasons, others because they particularly like one streamer, or as you say, everybody has their own reason to do what we're doing here. Some people have to move on. They are not doing it anymore. Others came over later. And then it happens, in my opinion, like it happens with all movements or any type of big group of people, they form subgroups. Now, we know that in the middle of all that, there is a group of that may be infiltrated by OSA, because OSA does that to cause like division and bickering between people and ugly stuff. They do that. And then there's other trolls that came without having following DOA doing troll stuff. So all that made it worse, plus all the court cases and the money in the middle, and there's so many things that we know that happened, right? So everybody has a different opinion. How do we move on from here? Apart from the fact that, as you say, what do we do with Aaron? Because a lot of people say we should tell him to talk about it in his channel, and others will say no, I don't like it because he's a, he's an abuser, and why it's like so, etc. So I think
And
whatever
I
happened on,
when I heard, like, when she told me, which I did not get much notice either. Like, it's not like I was sitting on this or anything like that. But when she told me, I freaked out, and I wanted to step away. Like, I did not want to be associated with him. I don't
right.
want, any connection to him, but I'm looking at the bigger picture. Like, yeah, it's not going to get more people to the permitted protests. It really isn't. But it is going to, if Audit is saying for one day, drop the beefs, drop, everything, just for that one day, the day before, the day after, go extra hardcore, whatever. But for that day, if you could just chill for that day, it it means a lot that she was willing to, because I'm not speaking for Audit, but I know that Audit does not support people that are abusers like that.
Yeah.
So and she did not go and email him. She is not being safe pointed by him. She knows, just like we all know and have our feelings. But she's telling
she's
people
a very
to
smart
step aside.
person, and she's a very
But
strong woman and very smart. So I understand, and she probably had to make this difficult decision too. And this is a learning process. I mean, maybe today, a lot of people were saying, including here in this particular chat, in some a couple of panels that we had, like, oh, we should go for the big channels and talk to them. And I was like, I felt weird about doing that, but I said, okay, let's do it, right? So I know some people wrote to it, a lot of people wrote to Aaron to do that, and have this mentality, which is the end before the means. Not exactly, but kind of like, let's achieve this, and then we see. So we have the means in the middle, like they may be a little dirty, and then we have the ends there. And now we have seen what it does. Like, for example, now we know that if we appeal to certain channels to have her, that's not going to have the effect that some people thought it would have on money, because they didn't share the GoFundMe, or more assistant, more attendance to the place. So it's a learning process. I mean, anybody can make this, and so maybe a lot of people who are watching were not in the chat speaking crap, but they are listening and they start paying attention to Audit. I'm here because I started watching Aaron, and now I don't watch him anymore. I don't like him, and I wouldn't watch him again. And so you start somewhere, right? Now things got vicious, and I do understand you are in a very complicated position because you're personally friends with many of these people. I don't know them personally, and it wouldn't hurt me to lose a friendship. I do understand I think I understand where everybody's coming from, where Audit is coming from, what DOA is coming from his particular point of view of feeling the pressure of maybe going to jail. Yeah, it has finished. We're just talking about the protest of AuditLA. So, and I'm sorry, because we were ICC. I didn't want to clickbait with the thumbnail. We started talking about that, and we continue. What was I saying? I understand you are in the middle of all this. Oh, I lost you, Gigi. So I'm gonna keep talking to you, but I hope you're listening. I understand you're in the middle of all this, and it's not easy if the OS says, oh, I'm not going to be friends with somebody who supports that, that's his opinion, and he's not going to support the protest, which I understand where he's coming from. Then the people in his chat can do whatever they want. Like, if he gets angry at somebody in the chat for doing that, that's his prerogative. Like, I don't know if you hear me. He could get angry. Like, I mean, I don't mind if he gets angry at me because he's not my, like, I don't know him personally. Like, so I can understand how I feel. But I think it's like whatever. We can do whatever. Now, the people who say I'm not gonna go because it makes me feel icky or it's up to them. Like, it was gonna happen. We don't know who's gonna show up. The
Well,
word
okay,
has to be out there. We don't know who's gonna show up. We don't
I'll
know
put
what's gonna
something out
happen.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really talk about it much, but I do say a thing here and there. But I have a feeling that we in LA ever might show up at the protest. Do I really
No.
want to see her in person? No. Am I going to sit here and trash talk her? Not really. She betrayed me on a personal level. So my
Mhm.
feelings might be a bit biased. So I don't like publicly share them or anything,
Right.
but I don't want to run into her. But Audit said for that day, just drop everything. So
Exactly.
if ever shows up, if we in LA shows up, I'm not gonna, start anything or be petty because she, hurt my feelings with something really big with personal trust. Like I'm not gonna make it about that on that day. And I like that Audit in a way by doing this, she didn't just talk the talk, she backed it up. Because she is not like an Aaron sympathizer or anything like that. She put things aside for the bigger picture of things. And she was
That
asking
is
people
great
to
what you're
do it
saying.
and did it too.
Because you're showing with your own example and she's showing with her own example. Like, for one day, everybody who's on whoever shows up, there's going to be people who don't like each other, or that, as you say, there was some particular thing that was done to you that I don't know about, that is hurtful. But you're not going to do it for our respect for Audit. And I think I feel bad because I left a comment in Audit's stream. I'm gonna delete it. I don't want to cause pro. I feel bad now because I was like, yeah. Anyway, I was angry at this stupid ass picture. I think nobody read my comment. Okay, I
No,
was
no,
angry at the picture,
I saw
and
I saw that. I commented too, but you were speaking at the moment, so you posted it and then you were doing your multiple. And
yeah,
I
and I
saw
felt
it.
I was disgusted. I mean, at personal level, I was disgusted, and I never comment on her stream against other people because I out of respect for her.
But okay, since
And
you missed it though, what she said is she didn't know what was going on. She's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then she's like,
oh,
if
okay,
there's something, Ganja, I trust
I
you,
didn't know.
do whatever." But you said that, and I said, I don't, or there was like no reason to even post that or whatever. Not talking to you, but to him. Like that post was, there's no reason,
Yeah,
no matter like for at all, in my opinion. So
yeah, I see. Yeah,
it's okay that you posted it
I
because
just
it's
didn't
good
want
to
to.
stand up against that. That was wrong.
Right, that is something specific. And for example, here's the thing, like that, I never spoke against a person. Like, we're talking about a guy who put a picture of animal cruelty and make me sick to a point that I feel like throwing up right now. And I didn't say anything. And I was about to write to Mona and say something and then I thought, like, I don't want to be writing emails against people. Like, I don't feel like joining this type of thing. But then it's disgusting, and I know they would never endorse that, so they need to know because you may not know. So today I felt like if I'm saying here, oh, you can all go to Audit and see, and I see that this guy is giving away memberships or whatever, I have to say something to him. Like, I'm not saying to him that you're a bad person or anything. I was like, can you please put that shit down? That's all I did. So, but I'm not gonna say that again because I feel bad for Audie. I don't want to cause trouble. Like, I feel that's her space. It is her space, and this protest is the same. So that's why I meant that, and I'm gonna apologize later to Audie for saying that. But or no, I don't know.
You
This is the moment
were
where
right.
this is the moment where, yeah, sorry.
You were right to say that. Like, don't stress over that because You had every right. You felt a certain way. And as a moderator in that chat, you did not say anything that
Okay.
crossed the lines of any rules. So
Okay.
I don't
I
think
was good.
Audit would have an issue with that. You know how she feels about animals.
That's right.
So
So
I just don't
I
think
think it's
I
weird.
don't
Like
think she
she's
saw
in the
it,
middle of
the
stuff.
post.
She would never endorse that. So I know that she would feel the same way. And I'm not causing like I'll just asking him politely, just don't do that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is but like when we talk about the protest here, our personal, like I know a lot of people are gonna show up that I personally don't like to follow, that had not like done anything to me personally, but I feel like have done bad things that I think are bad. You personally may have to see somebody that has hurt you personally, and as you say, for this day, let's put everything aside. Now, that is great because uh, that's the meaning of all this. It's going to happen 100 different times, and we're going to have to get used to it. We're going to have to get used to keep doing this, whether it's this protest, tomorrow's protest, calling together, being in a chat together. You can say things to each other, depending on the owner of the channel, to say whatever the rules that they want to say. We're figuring it out because this is a new phase in a movement that, in my opinion, is taking like surprisingly good. Like we know there are less people, we know there's like a lot of bad blood and whatever, but at the same time it keeps going. Things keep going. The court cases are very important. We're here supporting. You know, some people are not supporting. Is their thing. Others keep talking. Like it's a big deal. So it keeps. We have to get used to keep going and see what happens. And I think it's a learning process. And Audit is a strong, intelligent person, and she's gonna figure it out. I do support her, of course, here, and I'm thinking it was great what you just said. You're gonna be there in person, right? That's amazing.
Yes.
That's
So
so cool. That's so cool. That's beautiful. And it's like it's gonna be a lot of people that may show up with bad intentions, or maybe not, and maybe they just want to stream, or maybe they just want to be like whatever. It doesn't matter. It's for one day, as you say. Maybe the next day will be another day, and that's how you do it. And everybody has their own way of doing stuff. Some people are very like, oh, this is the line. I would never talk to that person again. And others are not like that. And or maybe you just for one day Friday you don't do it. Now, what can we do right now to help? Because I think it's good that
okay.
if this
So
happened, it happened now, before like 10 days before. So in the meantime, we can just recycle the energy or whatever and go back to what else can we do to help. We're learning where are the
well,
places where
okay.
we can share this information, etc. Right?
To help, Amy is really good at social media and stuff, so maybe
Uh-huh.
she would know how to do that, but not necessarily, share it like as much as she shares all the retweets, all stuff. But like, I don't know if you're local and you're hearing this, like show up, and
Now,
if you're a bad person that's going to show up and agitate, there will be security, there will be police, there will be point people pointing out to the security and the police who to keep an eye out on. So, like there's not going to be issues, like
yeah, right.
come correct, put things aside, be, adults. And, like if you're around, there's going to be food throughout the day. There's going to be other things going on, which I don't know what I could speak on, but there's some stuff that's planned throughout the day. Um, and, just put the word out there. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the GoFundMe is at, but I feel like that's probably not the priority.
Okay.
There's some stuff on her wish list, which is on her description or something, but it's her normal wish list, but it's the items from the top of it down to the batteries is what would be, requested for the permit. The stuff below it, like the hats and stuff, like, and all that, the more personal stuff, that's Audit's like wish list. So if you go to the wish list and you see something from the top down to the batteries and you can contribute, if you can't make it, but you want to do something and you don't really want to do the GoFundMe because you think there's already enough money, or, maybe you just, don't trust people and you don't want to do money. You want to do like an actual tangible item. There's stuff on the wish list. Just make sure that it can get to her before the protest if you get something on there.
Yeah.
And,
Cool.
sort of just see, like, look through the list and see what you think is a priority. And if it's on the list, it isn't taken care of at the moment. So, like, that's needed stuff that's on there.
Right. And I'm thinking, like, this poster is great, and there are things I get lost. For example, I haven't been able to listen to all the streams that Audit made explaining what's going to happen and all, and I'm guilty of that because I didn't make the time to do that. Because I'm like mentally exhausted of everything Scientology, believe it or not. But I'm still here. I like to join anything that has to do with action, which is what she's doing, right? So here we are.
Oh, so Carla, we brought up this
Yeah,
flyer for a reason and we went off on
yeah,
tangents. But
yeah, exactly.
we
So
should
you
maybe
said
go
like the
through.
neighbors. It would be great if we like. I'm thinking like, of course, like people who are there, they can spread the flyers, but then also maybe in Facebook groups of the neighborhood or wherever is that the neighbors join, or what people, so that the people around in the area know, right? It's probably that's what you're thinking.
Yeah. But with flyers, I advise everyone to do their own research and
Mm-hmm.
see what the legality is with things and what risks you want to take. I know for a fact that if you put up a missing poster, whether it's for a human or an animal, they are not allowed to take it down.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of implies, I don't know. So I don't know about, like, I'm not endorsing, putting these flyers up necessarily, but passing them out, if there's a local, I don't know, like, I gotta talk to Audit about that. But with the
Yeah,
flyers, I can't see it because it's so small. But see how there's
yeah.
like tons of different things listed on there? That's what this is about. So the permitted protest is about all those things, which, okay, I can actually see it now. Okay,
When
so
you
it's like
see, it's like the bullet points, right?
reconnecting families, respect for disability rights, ADA
Mm-hmm.
compliance, fair use of city services, open and accessible public streets,
Sorry,
clear and honest
sorry.
communication, safe and respectful neighborhoods, protection for children, elders, and vulnerable individuals, and the right to gather
Sorry, sorry.
without intimidation. So
That is
it's
great.
like, it's
Yeah.
multifaceted. It's about all that stuff, and
This is
each
great
one's
because, for
important.
example, in a call also to the city, um, for example, public works, this could be an explanation of this. This is important because some of these things have to do with public works, right? With what they stand for or what they
Yeah,
are there for. The same for whatever group related to ADA, which I imagine Mona is also spreading, and anybody who knows about whatever community or group, online group, when you think they will be interested in this. And it's interesting for the neighbors too, to know that this is protected by the law, that they can be there safe, and then they can go and express if they feel. Of course, it's not easy because they may feel like they're going to get retaliation of some sort, but it's very important. It keeps going, and I think it's not going to be a one-time thing, but it probably must be exhausting for Audit because she must be doing so much. And I have the feeling that she's probably not, she tends not to ask for help enough, or it's just that my feeling, like maybe she's asking certain people for help, right? So I
she
don't
has
know.
people. She has people that have her back, and to
Right, right, right.
get stress off of her. They're picking up a little bit of the slack here and there with things. So
That's good.
they're,
Like she has
she,
people
she-
helping her. Yeah.
of course she's probably overwhelmed. This is a huge thing, and it. I got to point out Gina. Gina's the one that came up with this.
Yeah.
Um, from my understanding, it had something to do with she needed Audit to be on there because she was a local, but also because the actual like applicant there, it needed, you know, finessing with the words and stuff with how it was approached. Like there's certain things that Audit, you know, probably added in that locked it in for sure. So it's Gina's thing and it's Audit's thing, and they both probably have a lot of stress with us.
Yeah.
You know, we can't forget about Gina. You know, like, and
Yes, absolutely.
can we talk about how the you know, the permit isn't necessary to protest? Like that's
Mhm.
absolutely true, but it's there as a safeguard, and because of the permit, we have police that are there for us. We're gonna have security there for us. We're allowed to stop on the sidewalk and just loiter. Whereas if they're not part of the permitted protest, they have to keep it moving. And our security guards are allowed to tell them keep it moving. You know, just like all their security guards would run their mouth and do that and, you know, follow and all that stuff. Like roles are reversed that day for the sidewalk. So
It is a new
yeah, you
thing.
don't need
It
a
is
permit,
something
but
interesting to uh I don't know if it's exclusive access to the sidewalk because they have to be open anyway, but you can actually
they have to keep it
occupy.
moving.
Yeah. Oh, okay. People passing by, they have to keep it moving. But if you're part of the protest, you can stand there or sit there and be there.
Yep.
Great.
Though, okay, they have
Yeah.
the benches there on the road, and those are not on the sidewalk. Those benches are
Mhm.
on Scientology property. So if you're planning to attend, please do not sit on the benches or do so at your own risk because that would be going on their property.
Great.
So maybe
I
bring
think it's important
a
to
chair or
keep
something.
trying stuff. We never know, like everything is like it's not new because it's happening. This protest has been happening for a long time, but it's also new. This is a new way. See what happens. It's not easy to be there without protection, knowing that the police can turn on you if you don't have a permit, because they tend to be for Scientology instead of against. And I think, as you say, Gina and Audit have done this amazing thing. We know how much Audit and so many people behind the scenes and all the people who are here and you keep pushing and doing it every day. We see progress. We also see a lot of dirt, and we see a lot of infighting, and we see a lot of people who have, in my opinion, the worst intentions or maybe the wrong intentions. I don't know if the best thing is to, cut them off, argue with them, expose them, or just ignore them. I really don't know.
But
I try
I
to focus on what's this the positive thing to do. So right now here I'm thinking, okay, what can we do here now? Whatever happens, it's going to be
well,
great. If it,
I wanna say something because I just thought like this is very important.
Mhm.
Okay, there might be some people out there that are thinking about, you know, like they don't like, you know, this person or that person. So they're going to do something to try to sabotage this or whatever.
Yeah,
But in the spirit of what AuditLA said, drop things for that day, you know, regarding this, regarding the protest. Drop everything for that day. Come, you know, have a bite to eat, do some protesting, you know, and just, you know, focus on the big picture that day. But if you're someone that was thinking of doing something, you know, to sabotage, like reconsider. Just come, you know, have a chill, calming time, you know, with people, or maybe, you know, maybe one sidewalk's going to be louder, you know, and then there's going to be like a quiet zone, you know, find, you know, an area and do your own protest on the street, step away from people, whatever. But you can
right.
participate too. It's like Audit's chat. I feel like in
Hmm.
Audit's chat, she gives you a chance until you mess up. And when you mess up, you're gone. So,
Right.
you know, like, if you're someone like I described, like come and be cool for that day. And then, you know, go back to, you know, shit talking, whatever the next day. But like,
And argue online.
yeah, but look at the bigger picture of it. You know, look at what hopefully we're
Yeah,
all in it for. You know, and if you mess up, you will be asked to leave, and we have security and
yeah.
there's police, and but we're gonna drop beefs for that day, for that protest. That's important to do. And, I am about the cause, and hopefully others are too.
Yes, and I think like I do not, I mean personally, I do not expect or wish or pretend that it's possible to go to a point where everybody's friends or sing kumbaya, or that before it was better. I don't think that's necessarily so. I think it is what it is right now. It was what it was, and we're moving forward. And there were so many things that protesters have moved forward from, like that they have accomplished. Some people went, some people have gone. I know that this is a very, very difficult, one of the most difficult organizations to protest against. So it's a huge accomplishment what everybody who had the good intentions have been doing. Whether they had to quit, whether they kept going, it's a huge accomplishment. And I for one day, that doesn't mean that you're going to be friends. Like I say, it's just you're there for the cause. You're there because you remember why you're there, for your particular cause against this particular organization. It's not even against the people who are in. It's against the policies and the abuse. It's not even against the people who are there to do their thing. It's actually try to end the abuse and all the other reasons that are here. So simple as that. And let's see what happens. I think whatever, like I don't know, I would have to ask Audit like what's her ideal outcome in all this, because if like to me there's no way this can fail, in my opinion, whatever
I think
happens.
that one of the goals is to show how we put on an event on that same location, and show the
Mhm.
contrast between how they do their stuff and I think it's a way to show them, like, look, it is possible to follow rules,
And I
you
think it's
know.
important that the people that are there, and there are going to be so many people streaming, and if you don't want to stream for whatever reason, like take pictures and then keep the pictures, put them on social media, because that just like Scientology does, they may have 10 people there, but they put pictures like it's, oh, look at all the people that are here. And I know there's going to be a lot of people, but I mean, like the ADA community showing up, and the sidewalks being a mess, that's something that we can send by email, or we can present to the boards.
Oh, and
Everything that's going on is big. Yeah.
I had an idea, but
Mhm.
seeing how everyone reacted, like with the Aaron situation or whatever, I sort of didn't proceed on it. But like, how would people feel if like Leah Remini, actually showed up? She's supposed
I
to be
think it
like
would be great.
she's supposed to be like the spokesperson for leaving Scientology, and I don't remember a single time she's done anything involving any of the protests. But what if she could, and I know that there's some people that they don't like Leah Remini, but wouldn't you see that as a win, because it's Leah Remini and she's like the mainstream, spokesperson for leaving Scientology? So it's
Whatever
like
people
you got to
say,
put
it's
stuff
going to
aside.
be. Yes, whatever people say, some people, if she shows up, some people are going to say, oh no, it's all about her now. And some people are going to say, that's the best thing ever because it brings attention. So whatever happens, somebody's going to have a complaint. It's them if you
Right.
do and them if you don't. And I think I've seen that she had sent a letter to the LAPD, right? I don't know if it was her or her assistants or who, but there is a letter from her to the LAPD from one of those PDFs, that from one of those files that Audit showed some time ago about
CPR,
the public comment. Yeah, I don't know how it's called.
the
So
CPR.
yeah, she submitted something to. So I think
But
maybe
no, that is different. Okay. So
okay,
there's CPRAs out there, California Public Record Act, and that's like
okay,
FOIA,
okay.
which is Freedom of Information Act, but FOIA is like federal, and CPRA is specific to California. And Leah has written to the police because she has been fair gamed. she's had private investigators follow her and all that stuff. So she had emails and stuff. And then Scientology, like Hendrik Moxon, has been sending tons of CPRAs trying to get all the conversations between Leah and the LAPD. And
I get it.
there's specific officers that I think were reassigned because she was talking to them and Scientology interfered and got them relocated or whatever, or fired
Got it.
or so that's the context I heard of her being, not necessarily in the protest. She's just dealing with stuff because, you
Right.
know,
She was still continuing with that. And I remember her talking a couple of years ago about they went to the LAPD and they were received in a horrible way and it was kind of traumatizing and all the, as we know.
can I
Here's
share something
this,
on
yeah.
stage? Does that work? Like if I click a comment, does that show up on the thing? No. It says
I
I
don't
could,
know
but Peter had a good
which one.
comment. Sorry to interrupt you, but
The,
we
when is
need
it
Judge
Judge
Judy
Judy
to
or
show. Yeah.
we need yeah, we need that. We need a professional or non-professional mediator to
Or or
patch things.
or Jerry Springer's ghost can come back. I mean, rest in peace, Jerry. But he would have been perfect.
Yeah, that would be, and that keeps it entertaining. Oh my God. Yeah, I felt bad about like I think this is a great comment. I didn't want to like ruin the seriousness of this, but this is hilarious. And I don't know, like you were talking about her, whether she shows up, whoever shows up in favor of the cause, as long as they're not a real criminal, it's a good thing. You know,
Right.
somebody who
Right.
actually destroys the uh
But
like right now this is a different case. It is there is a permit, so and also now I remember it. This is what I wanted to say. I remember the people from the Aftermath Foundations and their defenders saying, oh, the way they're doing it in the US is wrong because the way Alex is doing it with the permits is right. So this is one of the examples, like maybe they can endorse it.
yeah.
So you know, that's the other group, quote unquote group, that maybe could endorse it. I don't know if somebody wants to keep opening the door, since it has been like the portal has been open, so
But
can be all the
I have feelings against certain people, but I would love for more people to be involved in the movement, you know, and
yeah,
like there's different parts of the movement and I'm not like grouping people together, but you know, like just for the sake of easy conversation, I'm calling it a movement, you know, but like you have different sides, like you have like the aftermath people or the people that they just educate about Scientology, but they're not protesters really, you know, and there's like different
yeah,
subclasses or whatever. And like I really wish that like Claire and Mark, is that his name? Mark, yeah,
yeah,
the leads. And I wish they would, you know, show up. You know, like and I know like I wish that Nora would show up. I don't know if she will because
yeah,
she's been sick, but I know that there's some situation between them, but we're talking L. Ron Hubbard Way, both sidewalks from Sunset to Fountain. That's a lot of area to space out.
yeah, you
You
can
know, you
separate
could
for
be
groups
at
and go
Fountain, you
interview
could be
each
at.
one. Uh,
So if there's something like that, you know, where like there's something, just space out and don't let them, you know, affect you because it's not about them. It's about the bigger picture. But
yeah, that's
like
right,
I
and it's
would like for a lot of
mhm.
people to show up, but there's like this web of you got to see like are they okay with this person, that person, and it's like it doesn't matter.
If we go into that detail, now that you said it, like there's so many different feuds that it's difficult to, you know, catch up with, and sometimes you don't even want to know. So I mean, there's so many feuds out there, people, and valid or not valid, as you say, like if you were personally betrayed and hurt, that's valid. That doesn't mean you're going to deny it. That means that today you're not going to make a mess out of that, because out of respect and for Audit and for this. And I think, listen, I think we have a few more days, like we have a lot of days yet to keep pushing. And I wish, like, you're the one who talks more with everyone in person. I don't, you know, and I hope you can transmit in person as much as we can transmit in the chat to Audit that everything's going to be great and we're still here. You know, I don't think nothing has changed so much. Like maybe some people are not going to show up for their own personal reasons, or maybe they're going to reconsider. We never know what's going to happen. Somebody else is going to show up. And I've organized a lot of events that have nothing to do with protests, and usually half the people before COVID, half the people showed up that actually registered, even given their names and all. And then some people, not even half, like we got half the attendance. If 100 people say I'm going, we got 50 people. So it was like clockwork. It was 50 people. And some, like half of them were probably just showed up without giving their name. So we never know, like whatever happens it's gonna be positive. If the most important part is to be able to, and I think everybody who's related to this, it seems to have been very well organized. If you have everything prepared, all the possibilities of what can happen, like Miriam did in Europe, you know, all the safe protections and the water and the all this, the you know, warn people about the possible bull baiters there. Everything is prepared the way it has to be. Then again, you just have to let it happen, and any outcome is going to be positive. Yeah, like if nobody gets hurt, but nobody's going to get hurt. That's covered.
Well,
So
there's
you know,
gonna be security and there's gonna be
right?
police, and there are security, our police, you know, like they're looking out to make sure everything, and we're gonna be peaceful. So they're gonna just make sure everyone else is. And, you know, there's gonna be okay, so with the GoFundMe and stuff like that, I heard someone say in a chat about, you know, why is that money necessary? Blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, it's gonna be like an all-day thing, and there's gonna need to be food, because food is a part of it. And also you
Mhm.
you're required to have trash cans,
Right.
and there's like different things
There's a
that
lot of
are
people.
required, you know, and like you got to have stuff like first aid, you know, you got to have tons of water, you know, you got to have chairs for people to sit down because you can't sit down on those benches. And if it's hot and someone's getting heat exhaustion, you need to have, you know, one of those portable fans and a chair for them. Like there's a
And
lot of things
first
you gotta
aid
look at.
kits and tons of stuff. And of course, like, and Audit says she's going to show the receipts. So that's it. Like if you like, we donate all the time just for the sake of it. And that's it. And she's going to show the receipts for those who want to see them. And then if people feel for whatever reason that was not, I don't think it's going to be the case, but in any case you donate and you feel like it was not well used, then don't donate again. And that's it. I learned from my experience. Like I was bitching about, oh, I got donated for this and I was lied to, and somebody said, well, that's on you. And I realized, yeah, that's right. Like I'm an adult.
Yeah, and
So
like,
I should have read everything better. And if you trust somebody, and like it's not the case, but I'm saying like whoever is wondering why, or I don't want to give more money or whatever, like it's like okay, you
well,
feel like you can give
Audit did
5, and next time if you see what happens, and next time you give more if you feel like it was okay.
she did the secret mission one, remember? Like that turned out to be the Casper report,
Yeah,
and she had to pay
and
for that, but she followed through with that. You
yeah,
know, like she has shown.
of
So
course will. I mean, I of all the people, she has shown to have the most
but
integrity. So
food, food is gonna
yeah,
cost a
too
lot of
much.
money. But food is gonna be a big part of the thing, and it's gonna be from morning to night.
Right.
So that's, you know, like more than one meal and like snacks and stuff for people through the day, you know, and in and out was gonna be like 3,500. But I saw someone saying like, well, can't you just do what DOA did and, you know, just cook food yourself? And DOA has all these supplies from the encampment. You probably could ask him and use that. But there's specific things that are like restrictions. We cannot do that with this
Mhm.
permit. You know, we
Right.
can't have open flames. We can't cook. If there's in and out, they have their own like vendor license and all that stuff. So they have themselves covered. So they can do the cooking, you know, whatever. But if we're doing this permit, we can't there's a lot of restrictions with it. So that would have been nice to do it, like DOA style, like back in the day, but that's not even possible with this.
Yeah, and also if you have enough, that is like I remember Audit saying that in the first post when she said we're not allowed to cook, so we're going to have food. So it was all explained and forever. Like I think all the information is out there. We just need to read more and listen more.
know.
Like I didn't know certain things, and now I'm paying attention.
I saw a lot of misinformation, so I don't know, but
yeah, well, if you go to the original source, like if you go to the GoFundMe, if you go to Audit, like if you go to her chat or Gina and you ask her, or if we ask you or whoever is in direct contact, they can give us the scoop, not to talk whatever. Like this, it's like as usual, whatever you read in the chats or whatever anybody's saying, just go and check if it's true. It doesn't matter who says so. I mean, go and check if it's true.
that's how life should be. You should always research
Yeah.
what you do and make your own.
Go to the source. If again, if it's like go to the GoFundMe explains a lot. Her list, she has been very thorough of explaining.
And it's all the way down
yeah.
to the batteries on her list. So from the top down to the battery, what's for the permitted protest.
Right.
The other
Yeah,
stuff, like sunglasses and hats, that's more of a personal thing, So still, if you want to support Audit because she's cool and she deserves something, you don't have to do something, get it for the protest, Get her something, show her some love. She has a
Right.
bunch of different price points on there, but she's never forcing anyone. It's called a wish list, like she's not saying, I demand that you buy me this. Like
she's the one who sells so many hours like doing that particular lobby work as for free. Like she does pro bono, like she doesn't have
Yeah.
an organization, but she's doing it. She's her own organization doing a lot of every time you see her in the corridors talking to people, that's a lot of PR done in favor of this cause that has caused so many great things to happen. So and it will cause more. So I think if somebody has to be beyond reproach or above reproach is her, because she has done so many great things. I understand people get mad at her being an Aaron. I felt a little bit, I gotta say my reaction, like you said, we can have reactions. So that's something I said. We still have time. We have reacted. We have time to think now. We have reacted. I reacted like disgusted. I think, why? And this is blah. I'm not gonna watch it. So I didn't watch it. I just scrolled through to see if Lara was gonna be there because I thought like what's the thumbnail? And then I saw the titles. Okay, I hear all that. I don't need to see it here. Great, goodbye. And I felt bad about not supporting her, but I'm supporting her anyway. So, but I just couldn't go there. And that was my opinion.
When I heard
that doesn't
about it,
mean that I'm not going to support whatever happens. Yeah.
I freaked out. Like I really like freaked out. And I'm gonna keep saying that because like I freaked out on her. I was calling her for something totally different. And then she said that I might be mad at her and she told me. And it's like I flipped out. But when I was done with the reaction, I was able to think about it rationally and look at the bigger picture of things. And
yeah, and I still don't know if that was the best thing to do or not, but it's not up to me to decide. It's up to her to decide whatever happens. And it was her decision. She did it for a reason. She has a goal. And in this, as you call it, movement, and as we call it, movement, which is not necessarily a movement, but we have to give it a name, whatever it is. There are going to be people like her who are going to be more of a lobbyist and like I would call it centrist, maybe somebody who's going to try to be in moderate good terms with everyone because that's her job so that she can accomplish stuff. She may not be best friends or like people like the police officers at the what's his name, like she actually became friends with some of them, but she may not like the people at the there are some people who treated her very badly at the meetings, and she's still being nice to them, she's still being polite, like that's how she does her work. I think Mona also does it like that, like a lobbyist, like a PR person.
Well, that's
that
kind of how
navigates.
you have to do it when you're doing like the city hall side of things.
Right,
That's
that's the way they do it. That's the game they play there. And there's another game which is the type of game that the LA does or that Streets LA does, which is maybe yelling or doing protests in front. Like they're different, okay? Streets LA
And
does the
there's
TikTok
no right
shorts,
there's no
kissing.
right way to do it. It's not like Streets is the best and every
No,
other way is wrong, or Audit's the
we can
best
have
and
a
yeah.
preference of how to do it, a way of doing it that has to do with our personality, a preference for one streamer or the other. Then there are streamers that we prefer not to support because we know that they have done things that are wrong. So it's like, okay, I'm not gonna watch this person. But there, regardless of that, the way of moving forward a cause, there are many ways. Like maybe some people say, oh, it's so dumb to do the shorts that our 14-year-olds watch. And then you think, like, I don't know, Jessica or Streets. But then you think, like, that reaches a lot of people. So that's an opening door. What's wrong with that? And some people say, oh, it's wrong that it's, I don't know, the OA looks like a clown with a cape or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, well, that's attractive to watch. Like I'll keep watching because that's funny. And then like it brought a lot of eyes to the cause. So that's, there's so
There's
many.
so many pros and cons about every different
Yeah.
style. There's no correct way to do it. And everyone, brings their own, even if they might be similar to someone else, they have different things that are their own, they have their own style. It's very individual and unique to that person.
And I think it's also valid that for whatever reason somebody feels that they don't want to go in this case, or if they don't want to they don't want to. I know we push each other, like we have to do this, we have to do that, and it's great to push each other because sometimes we wouldn't do it, but sometimes somebody needs a space, or for whatever reason they're not in the right moment, the right place, or they feel like I cannot deal with this, or I cannot deal with this person. And I think that's also fine to give them grace. That's my opinion. Like if somebody says, I don't want to go to this protest because I don't feel comfortable, okay, inform yourself more. Maybe as you say, you can go to one corner, you don't have to see the other people who are in the other corner. You can do your stuff there. But if you still feel uncomfortable, do whatever you want. It's okay. There's, I don't think I understand where you come from, because it's wrong that all this misinformation and anger can come up. But I think it's also valid if somebody doesn't want to support, even though it's, as you say, for one day. Somebody says, I don't want to get together for one day. Okay, do whatever you want. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You probably think completely differently. Yeah. As you say, Kirby, people don't like to be told. I think we're all adults. At one point, I'm learning every day, and I change my mind every day. And I think it's great to see people like you. Like I was listening to the other morning. It was morning for me, nighttime for you. That you went to the panel, and I was thinking, it's so great to hear you when you were talking with Scotty about something, like to make him understand why there's a different point of view of this or that. You were so explain it so well, and it's great to see people that it's great to see people that are able to have this type of conversations. And it's not the type of conversation in the internet which you're this, you're that. Like to be able to have this type of conversations like we're having right now, it's great. And I want to say, I know that you may feel tired after saying all this here, and you wanted to do a stream. I think you should still do the stream, because here, like, this has a different thumbnail. People are somewhere else. I don't know how many people actually watch my videos. So if whenever you feel like you're ready and you want to have your streams are great because you're well organized. You have point number 1, 2, everything you want to say, put it out there. If you need to, it doesn't matter. Let's repeat it. That's how you do marketing. That's how you repeat the message over and over. So if you feel like talking again, do it.
I got to put this out there. You say that I'm organized. I freestyle everything. So I am
But it
not
felt
organized.
super organized. Like I listen to your streams or your interviews, and it looks like, okay, now Paul, but maybe it's organized in your head. Like I
Yeah,
need to put
probably. Like I just don't.
right. Like here you
Organization.
came over with a list
So
of ideas, and it was so everything you do, like people who didn't listen to this or the other stream, they're going to listen to yours. I mean, one person changes their mind or pays more attention, it's going to be great. It's not going to be one, it's going to be much more. But I would encourage you to keep talking everything you want to say. It's why not? Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, that's
I just haven't been able to stream because I got so much going on with everything right now. But
Yeah,
I,
of
I'll do
course.
my stream. I got it scheduled. It's on there if y'all are subscribed.
That's great. That's great. I'll
You can
try
get-
to I'll check when to join. I do have to go now. And
It'll be
I
5
thank you so
p.m.
much for
It'll
sorry,
be 5 p.m.
for
LA time.
cool. Oh, right. Okay. I it's gonna be super late for me, but I'll watch the replay. I'm gonna be sleeping, I think. But I'll watch the replay. And thank you guys for those who stayed, and thank you, Gigi, for being here and for saying all those things. I felt like you needed to get out of your system. I hope it helped. And
It did, and I appreciate you having me on your stream. And yeah, thank you for all you do. Like, give yourself credit. I don't know if you do, but you know,
I feel bad. I feel a little bit guilty because I haven't been doing videos in a while, and but I really, my mind, it's like it was melted, and I think now I'm gonna like try to focus again and put some energy. But it's like I don't know. I guess my energy was drained, but I'll be back. I'll be back.
well, you got to take a break sometimes and re-energize yourself.
Yeah.
So I'll be back with my streaming, you know, more in a bit. You know,
Cool.
it just sometimes you gotta take a break, but you know, as you see, me and Collar, we're not fully taking a break. We're still doing, you know, what we can. But sometimes you gotta, you know, step back a little bit, throttle things, you know.
Yeah.
But thank you
Absolutely.
for the stream and thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming, and everyone. And hi, Kirby, and thank you for being here and everything. And bye, everyone. Peter, Amy, everyone. Kathy, Style is here. Bye, 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 bye. Oh, gee, great grandma. Bye.